A couple months ago, I made a post about our first time meeting. It gained a lot of traction. We had been talking for years, and then things got more serious. We both share the same interests, so the relationship was very important to me, as it's something I value a lot. We had a fantastic time as a long-distance relationship, but the first time meeting was rough. The first couple of days were so bad it prompted me to make the post. She has severe anxiety and was the root for most of the issues. However, the last day was much better, and things were on the up and up. We planned another trip to a city closer to me in the States, where there would be an event we were both excited about. The last 2 months things seemed to be going really well post the first trip. She opened up a bit more about the meet and was very apologetic about the whole thing. We spent the next couple of weeks in calls and video chatting, doing what we loved together. Things were great, but something was missing. A piece of the relationship, something intimate and playful, seemed to have faded. This was her call. She decided that she should be less flirty and sexual online until she can express the same in person. I respected that. I believed it just needed time, and I've always been committed to working through things together. Unfortunately, that's where things started to spiral. One thing about her is that she's very independent, and that often comes across as distant, uncaring. There's some days where she chooses to not interact with me, ignore my messages, or get short when I try to be affectionate and caring. Usually this only happens when she's having a rough day. Unfortunately, a week ago, she was having one of those terrible weeks. In my head, a relationship should be one of comfort, relief, but while I tried to help her through it, she lashed out and started being distant. I tried to comfort her, but it was met with a coldness I couldn't understand. I had to guess how she was feeling and was left in the dark a lot. I made the, in hindsight, wrong choice of opening up about how I didn't understand and how I just wanted to be someone she could lean on, about how it made me feel awful. I couldn't support her. I felt shut out so often. This turned into a lot of messages about how we felt about relationships in general and the changes ours would need to take. It focused on how we care about each other a lot, but she has her anxiety and independent healing she has to work on, and how I have to give her more space and care less. The main villain, as was the culprit of the first meeting, was her anxiety. It's ruining her life in more ways than just our relationship. She's struggling everywhere, so her #1 priority was to get in a better spot with that than work on us. This was a great compromise, and I was excited for the next step in the relationship. I would continue to give her time and space, to wait for someone I think is a one-of-a-kind, worth it, and she would get to the place where she believes that too about herself. And finally, now, I boarded the plane with a lot of hope. Things were good after a few days of us getting back on track, but as I landed, I got a short, heartbreaking message from her. She said she is not in a healthy enough spot to make this relationship work for either of us. After some reflection, her problems are so bad that she needs to step away and work on them. She doesn't think she'd be able to handle the trip we'd planned, and would be ruining another critical point in our relationship. The part that hurts the most isn't the time I've given her, the financial, emotional, or physical pain, or the fact this came out of the blue at the worst time. What hurts the most is it feels like she went from telling me how I was going to be her future to her basically treating me like an acquaintance. The last few days have been so tough. We talked for a little while. That first day, her entire focus of the conversation was that she needed to get better. She barely once talked about us. I got no closure. And now trying to talk to her feels like talking to someone I barely know, despite her saying she wants us to stay close. One of the first things she told me when we started talking was how words meant everything to her. They're so important. They should always mean something. She kept saying how much she cared about us, yet her current actions make me feel the complete opposite. I see her online, hanging out with friends, posting online, like I never existed, like I was just a footnote in her life. I'm here now. I'm going to try to make the best of the trip. But being alone again hurts so much. I don't understand. Some days the distance felt like nothing, and other days she made the miles so much longer. One really tried so hard. I'm exhausted. I'm getting older, feeling the pressure of finding my person really setting in. I don't want to settle, but I feel like I'm going to have to. I want more than anything to just make things right with her, to go back to that week and just give her the space she wanted, so we'd be on this trip together right now. I mentioned above that she's very independent, and her anxiety is taking that away from her. She can't do the things she wants with the people she wants, and I understand that. But what about us? I'm devastated. I know a lot of you saw this coming, and the rest of you all wanted to see this work. How do I move on? I know there's probably no saving this, but I wish there was. What can I do? And how do I find anyone like her? Again, I planned another meet with my long-distance girlfriend. The first one was rough, but this one felt like it was going to be great. We had a rough week and talked a lot about our relationship. However, the day I traveled in, she broke up with me, citing her anxiety as the culprit. I'm not sure what to do now. Important edit here. I've tried local for a few years. I've never had trouble getting dates or matches on apps locally, but I live in a small, rural town and haven't found anyone that aligns with my values and interests. From my experience over years of doing this, is that dating locally will be settling, which is why I tried online. There's a bigger city about an hour and a half over 2 hours away. Maybe I'll look there, but the relationship will still be long distance. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years, and he is being weird about marriage. We've talked extensively about having children in the future, buying a house together, and have even discussed how we want to handle finances after getting married. I thought we were ready to move forward in our relationship, but he told me months ago that he would not propose until he had $10,000 saved. I didn't agree with that number, but he would not budge. The discussion about marriage came up a few weeks ago, and he caught me off guard. I showed him a video of someone talking about elopement, because I know a big wedding would be overwhelming for him, and he lashed out. He told me that he would dread whatever we do to get married, because he hates having attention on him. This honestly upset me a bit, but I tried to let it go and move on. I am not someone that needs a huge wedding, but I've always looked forward to celebrating the love I have with someone, and it was a bummer to hear that he'd feel the same way. I tried talking to him about it again, but he had genuine anger about the topic. I dug deeper and tried asking if he had talked to his therapist about why he was so upset about it, and it was revealed that he ghosted his therapist 6 months ago. Obviously, I wasn't particularly thrilled about this fact. He eventually opened up and said that he and have an emotional attachment to getting married, and he's upset that it isn't exciting like most people tell him it should be. The number he gave me was just a goal, because he doesn't have emotions telling him that it's time. I once again tried to let it go until he had a chance to talk to a therapist about it. His parents brought up us getting married this past weekend, and he told them that he was looking forward to a wedding and to try and make myself feel a bit better. I said something along the lines of at least you'll enjoy asking me to, which he replied, that's not the word I would use. I genuinely don't know if I am crazy for wanting to stay with him and work this out. He made an appointment with his therapist to talk about this, but he is saying that he doesn't feel ready and can name a single reason as to why he isn't ready. He has had a ring given to him by his family for around 3 years now, but hasn't made much progress on a proposal plan from what he has told me. I am not upset that he hasn't proposed yet, but I am incredibly upset at his behavior towards marrying me. I've had to make sacrifices in this relationship, but I wasn't expecting to have to reduce my expectations to near zero regarding getting married. All I want is a chance to marry someone I love, wear a pretty dress, and have good photos that I can appreciate later down the line. It doesn't feel like I am asking too much, but I've been wrong before. Update. Hey, I made a post about a week or so ago explaining that my boyfriend was suddenly acting really weird and angry about the idea of a wedding. It took a bit of time for him to think about it, but he sat me down the same night that I made the initial post and read me a letter he had been working on for about a week. He explained it was the second draft and not super polished, but when he started reading it, I felt the blood drain from my face. It was over 2,000 words about how I am depressed. And here's all of the ways it affected him. He acknowledged it was the worst depressive episode he's ever seen me in, and instead of trying to get me help, he compared my negativity to his ex. He said so many hurtful things and later admitted that he never considered how the letter would affect me. I asked for a copy of the letter to go over in my own time, and as I read it on my own, I realized that there was no saving. Relationship, I will never stay with someone that would spend a significant amount of time writing something so hurtful and then saying it to my face. The idea of having children with someone who doesn't understand how damaging and hurtful their words are is a deal. The crazy thing is, this man also has depression, and I've helped him through numerous depressive episodes without raising an eyebrow. I've been there when he couldn't get out of bed for days. I was there when he couldn't feed himself. I supported him the best I could, and in return I got a cruel, thoughtless letter telling me how I'm not good enough because my depression makes him feel yucky. We've been living together for years and signed a year-long lease about 2 months ago. The only way to break said lease is to pay 50% of the remaining 10 months. I'm not rolling in money, so that's not an option. They also don't allow for lease takeovers, and subletting is only allowed with special permission, but they are taking their sweet time getting back to us. Our current plan is for him to move in with his parents and pay rent, so that we don't have to be around each other constantly. It's not a messy breakup, but things are still raw, and it's hard not to slip back into the routine. It's hard going through a breakup when you still sleep right next to them every night. I deserve someone that wants to give me more than the bare minimum. I knew I deserved more, but I so desperately wanted this to be the man I spent my life with. I'm not okay yet, but I know this is the right direction. I found a woman's sock in my house after being away for a week, and my boyfriend lied to me about it. I was away for a week for work. He was off work nearly this entire time as he works 1 week on, 1 week off. When I came home, my boyfriend had cleaned the house up quite extensively. Obviously not a crime in itself, but it was surprising and a little out of character. I usually have to do most of the cleaning, so it was unexpected. He even picked up some of my laundry that I left in the washroom and living room and put it in the basket. I was surprised, but I didn't think much of it. He started night shifts the day after I returned and I was working days, so I came home from work after he left. I figured I'd spend some time cleaning the house too, as he'd done. There's a shop vac that I've been sitting just outside of our bedroom door for a few weeks that I finally moved to the closet. When I moved it, I found a sock just behind it. A small ankle sock, Obviously, women's in a brand that I've never seen before. I had a bad feeling by this point, but I put the sock on a table by my bedside and continued cleaning, intending to ask him about it when he returned from work early in the morning. When I asked him whose sock it was, he said he didn't know. He then said he found it on the stairs and thought it was mine, so he put it there. But I put the sock there. I doubt he even seen it around the house, or else it wouldn't have been behind the shop vac. And if he had seen it and thought it was mine, wouldn't he have put it in the basket with my other clothes that he put away? I told him that I put the sock there and asked him why he lied about putting it there. He said he didn't have anybody over and he didn't know whose sock it is. I left and got ready for work and he went to sleep. Any advice on how to address this? Update: I don't know if I'm allowed to update in less than 48 hours, as per community rules. But he woke up. I'm sitting here in my office area, doing some work but also periodically crying, and reading the comments here. He came into the room and tried cuddling me from behind my chair. I was obviously stiff and he asked me why I was mad at him. I said that I didn't know why he wasn't honest with me earlier about the sock. He said he didn't lie to me. I said I put the sock there on the table so he couldn't have. He said that he meant he found the sock while cleaning and he tossed it aside. He then got super mad, saying that I'm always accusing him of cheating, swearing around and saying that he's not coming on our trip to my parents' house during the summer and that he's staying at the house all summer and that a friend of mine, who was supposed to rent the house for work during the summer, can't stay there then because he'll be here. I asked him why he was getting so mad and said that I'd been upset and I just needed an explanation and reassurance from him. He continued to lose it, stormed towards the door and threw his cup full of coffee down the stairs, grabbed an old baseball bat that we keep by the stairs and started hitting the step outside the door, yelling that he's not fucking cheating. Threw his lunch that he'd packed for work all over the steps and peeled off in his truck. Update 2: we broke up. As a lot of the comments have said too, it wasn't really about the sock anymore. Maybe I won't ever know what happened while I was away, but the violence in his response was frightening, and I don't want to be with someone that makes me feel unsafe in my home. It wasn't the first time I've seen him that angry, but it's the first time that he's done something so physical and I don't want to be involved. If it continues to escalate, he's been taking some of his stuff while I've been out of the house, and I've been changing the lock code after each time. I have some friends that live nearby that I've explained the situation to, and they've assured me I can contact them if I ever end up in an unsafe situation. Thank you to everyone that has offered advice, shared their own experiences, or expressed concern for my safety in the comments. There will be a lot of changes in my life upcoming due to this, but I know it's for the best.